Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. You knew it was going to happen sometime. You only wondered what took it so long. Ohio State, with the number 3 team in the nation, had its game Saturday against Maryland canceled because of a large amount of COVID-positive tests from the Maryland team. The game will not be replayed, putting Ohio State's chances to even qualify for the college football playoff in jeopardy, despite probably having the best team in the nation. College football has played it close to the vest all year, not much wiggle room at all, but this shouldn't come as too big of a surprise to anybody. The D-Man, Dennis Manoloff, is here. More sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Wednesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine, which is powered by cleveland.com. Powered by us tonight is the D-Man, Dennis Manoloff, who just uses this show to prepare for his WTAM show a little bit later. What do you do? Take some of the topics and throw them out and put them in, or what do you do?
Sure, because when you're on this show, you learn a lot.
Oh, okay. So you'll be on from 7 till what?
7 to 10.
7 to 10 on 1100 WTAM. So hopefully you'll listen into that. Dennis Manoloff with us. And tomorrow night, Andy Baskin will be here. All right, lots to talk about, D-Man. You got Ohio State, their game canceled Saturday against Maryland. You got the Browns returning apparently all of their injured guys. And it's Cy Young Award time, not just for Shane Bieber, but what are the odds of Trevor Bauer making it in the National League?
Yeah, Les, first of all, let me say Veterans Day, today, and it's an honor to be doing a show on Veterans Day. But yeah, regarding the sports plate, it's definitely full to overflowing. Beginning with in this hour as we tape, Shane Bieber almost certainly will be named the American League Cy Young Award winner, which is obviously a great accomplishment for him, a legacy accomplishment. He was the MLB Triple Crown winner. It's very rare to lead the majors in wins, strikeouts, and ERA, which he did. So he's going to run away from Ryu of Toronto and Maeda of Minnesota. And as you mentioned, on the other side of it, Trevor Bauer, I think, deserves it in the National League. Jacob deGrom has won a couple in the National League, and he's a finalist. Maybe he gets it again, but I think Trevor Bauer had a better year than deGrom in 2020. So you could have your Ohio size in a matter of less than an hour.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Ohio State Maryland situation. It's interesting because I believe Alabama had a game scratched this week. Hey, Alabama and Ohio State, you want to play on Saturday?
Let's see. What would be the midpoint between Columbus and Alabama and Tuscaloosa?
I mean, and honestly, Les, here's the thing: why don't we just fast forward to the Final Four and to get rid of all the remaining regular season and anything else? I want Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, and you pick the fourth.
Give him Notre Dame. Give him Notre Dame.
All right, sure. Throw Notre Dame in there. Take all four of those teams to a site, bubble them up, make it a bubble, make it a hub, and let's roll these guys out for the national semifinal.
Has that been brought up anywhere? Because that's a sensational idea. That nobody cares normally on a year about the minor bowl. Well, everything's a minor bowl game except the football playoffs. This one makes some sense because number one, you could adjust as much time as you need to it. If somebody tests positive, you can wait a day or two or three or whatever they need because you have all the time that you would need to play 2 football games. I'm for it. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much money at stake from now until then with TV revenues and, these leagues that have started up, they don't want to quit now, but it certainly doesn't look good the way the pandemic is rearing its ugly head again. I will say this. If Ohio State were to go to that fantasy bubble, if you will. They would need a pass to get out for a week so they can go beat Michigan and then go back into the bubble.
As long as you're making up the rules here, bring on Michigan. How does Harbaugh hang in there? And we
I don't
ask this
know,
almost every year now.
but here's the thing: if you're an Ohio State fan, you want Jim Harbaugh to have a lifetime contract in Michigan. You love the fact that Jim Harbaugh is coaching the Michigan Wolverines. You don't want to see him go because he's had such a terrible run against Ohio State, Michigan State. Now he's losing to Indiana. Admittedly, Indiana's a good team, and they can pose some problems. But yeah, Michigan once again is proving to be mediocre.
You when they hired him, it was a great move for them and a great move for college football and the Big Ten. And then it turns out he for whatever reason, whether it's a lack of recruiting or other people are getting better, or maybe sometimes I know he's done some crazy things out there on the recruiting trail. But people say, well, wouldn't you rather have them win a little bit so that there would be more of a rivalry? No, 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 no. You don't want to lose ever to Michigan, and let them win in basketball every once in a while. You don't want to take away that from football.
Right. And the Harbaugh defenders will say, will point to how great he is against everybody except uh, Ohio State, Michigan State, bowl games. Other than that, he's fine. He beats up on the tomato cans in the Big Ten, but I want to see Harbaugh stay in Michigan for as long as possible. I will say this, Les. A couple of years ago, I thought it was Harbaugh's opportunity to eject from Michigan and take the Indianapolis Colts job when it opened up, and instead, he chose to stay at Michigan, and Frank Reich wound up being hired. But I thought that was the opening that Harbaugh had if he wanted to get back into the NFL. Presumably, the Colts would have been interested.
How about the
But
how about the talk back then of the Cleveland Browns being interested? Do you think there was anything to that?
I I don't know, but he was a hot commodity in the NFL a couple of years ago, last when he didn't have as many struggles on his Michigan resume, and people remembered him having a lot of success with the 49ers, and the issues were with the front office. They weren't with his coaching competence. That's why he was jettisoned or voluntarily left, whatever, however you want to look at it. But it is interesting that he's still at Michigan and still struggling.
All right, it seems that the Browns got some good news today because everybody who's been injured is apparently going to play, although not officially. But Nick Chubb is going to play, and Wyatt Webb also, and Hooper, as well as we obviously think that Baker Mayfield will do it. What do you think this means? Do you think they get hurt by this extra week of not being able to install new stuff into the offense, which they probably were going to do if Baker was able to practice? Although Mary Kay Cabot was here the other night, and she said he basically only missed one practice, and it wasn't a very heavy one.
Yeah, I mean the good news, of course, is that Baker's back, and he was put on ice briefly because I guess had come close to somebody who had the COVID. So great news about the Bake Show. But I would submit even better news for what this Browns identity is, that Wyatt Teller, the right guard, and Nick Chubb, the running back, look to be back, because now you get your nastiest, snarliest, I would argue, best offensive lineman in Wyatt Teller, the right guard, and of course an all-world running back in Nick Chubb. Now Kareem Hunt goes back to being a complimentary back. You open up the field so much more. You're capable of running so much better, I believe, not only with Teller, but with Teller and Chubb. So I would expect the Browns to run the ball down the throats of the Houston Texans, who haven't really been able to stop the run, especially as the game goes on.
No, and that's interesting. You talk about that game coming up, and you don't even mention Odell Beckham Jr., nor do you need to at this point. It just shows you how many weapons the Browns have above and beyond the wide receivers.
Les, when healthy, I think, and we'll see. We'll see how it plays out in the remaining 8 games. But when this team is healthy offensively, I think you have more than enough with Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, Peoples-Jones, Hooper, Njoku, Bryant, Chubb, Hunt, Mayfield. I think that's more than enough to win games if you're the Cleveland Browns.
All right, for those who want to get into how come quickies a little bit later, just want to let you know we're gonna stop the show about 4 or 5 minutes earlier than usual. A lucrative speaking engagement, D-Man. You know how you have to make room for that?
What's that, Les?
Lucrative speaking engagement. You have to make room for that and cut the show early a little bit. If anybody wanted to really know what my priorities are. Anyway, if you want quickies or whatever, at the end of the show, if you have some comment you want to make, we're going to be shutting down maybe 4 or 5 minutes before the normal end of the show. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine, with new content each and every day. All you have to do is take a look at the Facebook page, and we put up a question early in the morning. You answer it all day long, and then we put it on the air from 6 o'clock until 7 o'clock Eastern Time right here on More Sports and Less Levine. Let's take a break. We'll continue. Some baseball news to talk about, possibly, or rumors to talk about. More Sports and Less Levine continues in a moment.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Maurice, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Got a really good football team coming into our building. Starting with their offense, Desean Watson, obviously an outstanding football player, explosive, makes plays late in the down. Their yards per play is very high. Really potent attack. On defense, J.J. Watt, an extremely disruptive player, as everyone knows. He can line up anywhere, so everybody will have an opportunity to try to block him. He's got very long arms, gets his hands on footballs. Special teams, they play very, very hard, have a really good returner. So we've got our work cut out for us there. Got a ton of respect for Coach Cornell and his staff, and we're anticipating this to be quite the challenge.
Yeah, Coach, if you can just elaborate a little bit more on Desean Watson, what makes him so good, and even though their record isn't good this year, he's having a really nice season, and he's gotten a little bit hot lately, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's a tremendous football player. You saw what he was able to accomplish in college. They won the division last year, won a playoff game. He makes plays, like I said, late in the down. He makes them on time. He's a threat to run it. He can make all the throws down the field. So it's readily apparent when you watch the tape how talented he is.
Hey, Kevin, when you're talking about Desean, his escapability, like, how do you deal with that as a defense, either in a game plan or just when it happens, the fact that he seems to be able to get out of any situation?
Yeah, we've all seen the play, in the playoffs versus the Bills. I mean, he's a special talent when it comes to that. And you just have to stay true to your rush integrity, and then you really have to get as many people around him as possible. If it's one person, it's hard to bring him down. You've got to have multiple people around him and staying disciplined in your rush.
Hey, D-Man, wouldn't it be great if you're at one of these press conferences and they ask the coach to say something about the other team and some of the players, and the coach just looks into the camera and says, I got nothing. I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice fodder, but these coaches, most of them anyway. I mean, once in a while you get a crack by a coach toward an opposition when
Rex Ryan, maybe.
Yeah, but Kevin Stefanski in general, and then certainly Kevin Stefanski as the first-year NFL head coach, is not going to ruffle any feathers in the opposition camp.
But he could have done that just by talking about the defense, pass defense of the Texans. They're not very good. I can say it. He doesn't have to say it. You and I can say it.
Yeah, pass defense, run defense. I think the Texans are extremely vulnerable. They wouldn't be 2-6 if they had a good defense. I will say this: I respect the heck out of Desean Watson. He is, an exceptional talent. The problem is what's been around him has left a lot to be desired. But he's capable of hurting the Browns if they're not careful.
All right, let's take a look at we talked about the pass defense and how poor it's been this year in the 2020 season. You take a look, he's got 257 yards allowed, 10th most in the NFL, 18 pass touchdowns allowed, that's 6th most in the NFL, only 2 interceptions forced, that's the fewest in the NFL. 2 interceptions in 8 games, that's lacking a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it with the Browns early in the year. The defense was turning the ball over at a pretty high rate, and it masked some of the issues that the Browns defense had lately. Not as many turnovers. Suddenly they don't look as good. Other teams are able to stay on the field longer. I mean, the remedy to a guy like, to stifle or try to stifle a guy like Desean Watson is to have your offense stay on the field for an extended period of time. And that's what I hope the Browns are able to do against the Texans. Just eat up the clock, because, a week ago last Sunday, they saw the Raiders control the ball for basically 38 minutes, and the offense was only on the field for 22 minutes.
Yeah.
So
if you can switch that around, eventually you're gonna move the ball on them, and eventually you're gonna score, which is obviously indicative of the big numbers they have.
Well, unless here's the thing. The Raiders didn't need to score that many points. They only scored 16, but they still won the game. Why? Because they had the ball for so long.
Right. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. You see it at the bottom of the screen. Dennis Manoloff, who's at the end of the show, is heading over to 1100 WTAM to do that show from 7 until 11 o'clock tonight. And hopefully you'll get a chance to tune in on that. 216-575-0403. Northeast Factory Direct has 3 locations. They've got them at West 140th, that's near the airport, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, as well as Macedonia, that's on Freeway Drive. And they got all 3, plus the great website, northeastfactorydirect.com. More Sports and Les Levine continues in its 25th consecutive year, powered by cleveland.com. Back in a moment.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, D-Man, one of the players that the Browns were looking at as far as needing to prove himself is Olivier Vernon. You take a look right now what he's been doing this year. It hasn't been so impressive. He's only got 2 sacks this year, and both of those sacks came against the Raiders. He had a lot to prove because last year he underperformed as well. He only had 3.5 sacks. Now, the Browns, they have a unique opportunity. Houston is looking to rebuild, and J.J. Watt has made it apparent that he does not want to be a part of the rebuild, that he's looking to possibly get traded to a team that's contending for a Super Bowl. Olivier Vernon is in the final year of his contract, so he's scheduled to be a free agent after this year. So if Houston is looking to trade Watt in the offseason, maybe the Browns could take this opportunity to add another defensive end opposite Myles Garrett that has proven himself in the league. Right now, he's 31 years old, and he's in his 10th NFL season. This year, he's got 26 tackles, 4 sacks, and 2 fumbles forced. Now, you look over his career, he's got 100 career sacks. And every year he's made a Pro Bowl, he's had double-digit sacks. He's forced 25 career forced fumbles, and he had 7 in 2018, which was a career high for him. He's scheduled to make $17.5 million in 2021, which is the final year of his contract. So, Les, D-Man, with Watt supposedly being available in the offseason for trade, is this an opportunity for the Browns to possibly add another defensive end opposite Myles Garrett?
Absolutely. You know, D-Man, Brian just mentioned that Watt wants to go somewhere where he can contend. Are the Browns a contender with J.J. Watt on that team?
Well, let me just say this. Breaking news as we speak, Shane Bieber is, in fact, the American League Cy Young Award winner. It was just announced. Congratulations to Shane Bieber. Cleveland Cy Young Award winners, 1972 Gaylord Perry, 2007 CC Sabathia, 2008 Cliff Lee, 2014 and 2017 Corey Kluber, and 2020 Shane Bieber. So
that's great
awesome
because based on what you're saying there, the Indians went a long way before, between Perry and CC Sabathia went a long way, and now they're piling them up, and that's great news. Did they announce the National League yet?
Not that I know of. It was breaking while Brian was talking about Watt that Bieber had won the American League Cy Young.
All right, congratulations to him. Well, certainly well deserved, no question about that.
You know, yeah, that trade proposal, I have no idea if that's even feasible. I don't know about JJ. I hadn't thought about it until Brian brought it up. I mean, I've always believed that, you know, at least since Vernon's been here, that he's been a disappointment. So anything to me would be an upgrade, but I don't know how the salaries match up or, you know, what the situation is there. But I mean, I guess a healthy JJ Watt would be great, but I don't even know.
A healthy JJ Watt isn't going to hurt you, obviously. It would be interesting.
Right.
I'm just wondering what he's thinking. If he wants out of there, and he wants to play for a contender, and he wants to go to the Super Bowl, he may have a chance with the Cleveland Browns. And they're clearly a better team with him than without him.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought, a couple of years ago, after coming off of 0-16, that the Browns would be able to say to the Houston Texans, we're the model of stability between the two of us. But I mean, the Browns right now are on the outside looking in of the playoff chase, but they are a playoff contender for sure.
You've got Romeo Crennel coming in as the interim head coach of the Texans. You think? Well, he's coached in a lot of places. Do you think that he's got anything behind him that makes him give him extra incentive to win this game, or is he just going out to win another NFL game?
Right. I think it's the latter, Les. I think Crennel doesn't worry about who he's playing right now. He's just trying to win games, and anybody in Houston is a better alternative than Bill O'Brien. So, I expect his players to continue to play hard for him. The question is, are they going to be able to, respond with W's, because that roster leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah, we talked about the defensive air game for the Texans. Let's take a look at what could be a big day for the Cleveland Browns running the ball. And there you see what they've got: 159 yards per game rushing, most in the NFL, 5.1 yards per carry, second most in the NFL, 11 rushing touchdowns allowed, and that is tied for 6, which is the most in the NFL. So just by looking on paper, that's not a very good defensive team, obviously. And they'll see, and the Browns will try to exploit that in many ways. What do you think they'll try to do with the passing game? We know with the rushing game, Nick Chubb apparently is back. What do you think they'll try to do? Do you think they'll be a tight end kind of a team?
You mean the Browns against the Texans?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's going to be a ball control type of approach. You know how we say, Les, in pro sports, it's copycat, especially in the NFL. Well, you know what? All the Browns have to do is look back to, 10 days ago, when they played the Las Vegas Raiders. And remember what the Raiders did to them. The Raiders looked at unfavorable weather conditions where it was very difficult to throw the ball. And they said, you know what? We're going to beat you up front. We're going to out-muscle you at the point of attack, and we're going to run the ball with Jacobs. And that's exactly what they did. Derek Carr only needed to throw for 112 yards, and the Raiders won decisively. I think the Browns say, you know what? We're going to do that this time because there's going to be some wind apparently on Sunday. The weather is forecasting some wind, not as bad as the Raiders game, but it'll still be significant enough that I think what they'll do is settle on the short passing game, but mostly pound the rock between the tackles, especially now that they have Wyatt Teller back.
And they don't have to get too fancy and do tricky things. Just go out and hit your guy, hit their guy better, and go out and win a football game.
And do what Belichick has always done, in New England. Exploit the weakness. I know, Brian and the research staff put up Texans' weakness against the pass, Texans' weakness against the run. But if I'm looking at the Texans defense, I'm salivating at their run defense. I'm saying I think I can run these guys into oblivion, especially when they're giving up an average of 5.1 yards a carry.
And don't be afraid of using that advantage. A lot of times they look at an advantage like that, and teams will somehow go a different way. If you're that much better offensively than they are defensively, just go beat them up.
Right.
216-575-0403. Email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Right now it's Smiley One. They're making it easy to invest in a new heating or cooling comfort system without breaking your budget. For a limited time, take advantage of their special financing, 36 months on select Bryant high-efficiency equipment. They make it easy for your family and you to stay comfortable all year long. Call Smiley One for more information. We'll take a break. Excuse me. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week, and it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, D-Man, earlier in the week we explored the Mets as a possible suitor for Francisco Lindor. Another team that might be in the market is the Toronto Blue Jays. Sportsnet put together a package that Toronto could possibly propose to the Indians that could get them Francisco Lindor. This first part is a big deal for the Indians in the fact that they need an outfielder. They've needed an outfielder for the past few years. Lourdes Gorilla Jr. He's 27 years old. He's played 3 MLB seasons. Last year, he had a pretty good year. He hit for a 308 average, 11 home runs, and 33 RBIs in 57 games. Now, in a bigger sample size, not a full season sample size, but a bigger sample size in 2019, he hit for 277, had 20 home runs and 50 RBIs. Now, he's been done fairly well as an outfielder as far as his defense is concerned. He's only committed 1 error in his time with the Blue Jays. Now, if you look at the prospects, there's Jordan Grossens. He's 21 years old. Last year in Single-A Lansing, he hit 337, 2 home runs, and 13 RBIs, and he's the Blue Jays' 3rd-ranked prospect. He's a right-hander. Now, another guy who is fairly young in the Blue Jays organization, he's a shortstop, De Castro. He's only 17 years old, so he's got a little bit of time before he's going to see the majors, but he's the Blue Jays' 17th-ranked prospect. Hasn't seen any time yet in the minors because of the COVID year this year, but the biggest praise with him has been his defense. Not sure about his bat yet, but that's something that yet to be seen. So, Les, D-Man, with Francisco Lindor, is this a possible trade that you explore if you're the Indians?
17th ranked guy in your franchise at 17 years old. I need somebody, D-Man, I need 4 guys, one of who can start today, one who has a chance to start, and then 2 top 5 prospects in an organization.
I have a world of respect for Brian and the research team, but it's not happening with Toronto. First of all, I don't want to deal with Mark Shapiro because he's a pain, and he'll be trying to somehow snooker me, and I'll be like, listen, we're trading you Frankie Lindor. I just don't see it with the Blue Jays under Shapiro and Ross Atkins the former Indians brass, because I don't see them shelling out upwards of 350 million to acquire a shortstop. That's not how Mark Shapiro likes to do things. I don't think that's how Ross Atkins like to do things, unless Toronto or the Buffalo Blue Jays ownership says to Shapiro, "Hey, go make a splash and trade for a guy that we can sign long term for huge dollars." But I don't see it. I don't see Toronto as a suitor. And by the way, the package coming back, I mean, I don't even wake up if I'm the Indians. That doesn't even get me up in the morning. Okay. I need at least 5 players out of that situation. I need 2 major leaguers, one that's a bona fide all-star, another one who's going to be an all-star like tomorrow. Plus, I need 3 out of your top 6 stud prospects, or I'm not even going to bother. The good news with the Indians, though, Les and Brian, is that the Mets, to me, should be the front runner to land Lindor, to acquire him. They have everything you need. They've got the billionaire owner who just paid almost $2.5 billion for the franchise. You got a guy in New York who wants to make a splash. He wants his team to be great. He wants to compete against the Yankees. Presumably, no stone unturned, no dollar, left in the pocket. So, to me, the Mets are the perfect suitor for the Cleveland Indians. The question is, will the Indians be able to get enough back from the New York Mets? And I think, for starters, when you're looking at the Mets, give me Michael Conforto. I love him as an outfielder. I know he's 27, but that's fine. I want a guy in his prime or entering his prime. I like Dominic Smith a lot as another guy to come back. But I'm looking at a minimum of 5 guys coming back from the Mets. But the good news here for the Indians and for Lindor is you've got a team in a huge market with a pile of cash that's willing to spend and presumably has the return the Indians will require.
Okay, you opened up Pandora's box here because there's so much. I wish I had 20 minutes to talk about it. One of them is that there's another asset involved that could bring the deal together, and that is with the new owner, he's got to put a front office together. How about Chris Antonetti? Would the Indians listen? Would the Indians allow Chris Antonetti to talk to the New York Mets? That's number one. Number two, is that part of a package that would bring Lindor? But number 3, which I think is 3 and 4, which I think is extremely important, is that I think Francisco Lindor's value has gone down a little bit. Maybe he did not have a good year last year by all reckoning, and he was not very good in the clutch. Now, he was still tremendous defensively, and he's still a guy I would love to keep here. However, it makes you wonder what the New York Mets are going to do. Would they go after him? But the other important thing is that I've seen potential trades all over the internet, and there's 5 top trades, 6, 8 top trades, whatever, up to 15 top trades, and he's not figured in any of them. Have we overrated him as a top flight, top 5 major league ball player?
No, and the reason I did this while you were talking, Les, we don't want the Mets to see and listen to what you just said, because as far as the Indians are concerned, Frankie Lindor played at an MVP level in 2020 and is the greatest shortstop, since who knows?
Until he signs the contract.
Yeah, I mean, the Indians have to promote him as great, and I think you could still sell him as great. You could just say, you know what, 2020 was an off year for a lot of guys, not just Lindor. Plenty of stars struggled, so it's not just him that had the issues. But I think he's very much an elite player, and you get him in a new atmosphere. You get him in in New York. I mean, you talk about a guy, Mr. Smile, on the biggest stage. I think this is a perfect landing spot for Frankie Lindor. Oh, by the way, the Mets have a need at shortstop.
And oh, by the way, we don't have to watch him come into town too often.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I mean, he's not going to come back and get you unless he plays you in the World Series. And you know what, Les? I know it's out there, but I love where your head is about a package deal. Frankie Lindor and Chris Antonetti going to the Mets for this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. That would be kind of wild. But if I'm Chris Antonetti, I I would be doing myself a disservice if I at least didn't take the call.
Sure.
Because the Mets are in need of of some big wigs.
And sometimes when you meet somebody, you just hand them a business card. In this case, you can just show them all the postseason hardware that the Indians got. This is more postseason hardware than I think they've ever had in any single year.
Yeah, and I get that. You play in the AL Central. Yeah, what have I said, Les? That if you're in the AL Central is where players go to win awards. The AL East or the AL West is where players go to win championships, except for the Royals in 2015. But it doesn't diminish what Shane Bieber was able to accomplish because he was a dominant pitcher and he deserved that award and he was awesome to say the least. But as far as Chris Antonetti's resume, if Antonetti were trying to sell himself to the Mets, he really wouldn't have to do much because
you just show up at the meeting.
Speaks for itself. And you know what's attractive, I think, less to the big market teams is when the small market guy had success because they say, well, you know what? If he can win with a limited budget, imagine what he can do with a big budget.
Exactly. Boy, the more I think about it, the more I think that's a great deal for New York to do.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't think they'd steal both Chernoff and Antonetti, though.
Oh, no. The Indians better dig in and make sure that Chernoff doesn't walk out the door because those two guys have been great, but you can't afford to lose one of them.
All right, if you want to get in at the end of the show here, now's the time to do it. We're going to take off a few minutes early, so lines are open if you'd like to get in at 216-575-0403. Northeast Factory Direct with 3 great locations. There you see them, plus the website. Can't beat it, northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll continue on more sports and Les Levine into its 25th consecutive year. It's a record somewhere, I think. And we're powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
November 11th, how about this one? 1995, Eddie George of Ohio State and a game at Columbus rushes for an Ohio State record 314 yards in the Buckeyes' 41-3 win over the Illini. He would go on to win the Heisman Trophy that year. What a game, what a career there. Birthdays for today, Pie Traynor, the Hall of Famer, Hal Trotsky on the left, first baseman for the Indians back in the League Park days, George Case, Halitosis, 1947, Willie Parker, and Mark Sanchez, all born on the 11th of November. 216-575-0403. D-Man, before the show, Brian asked me if I had a How Come Quickie, and I forgot to give it to him. I was at the dentist today, and it reminded me of this one. You ready for my own how come quickie? You don't have to grade it.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to grade it. How come it's impossible to do 6 months of flossing on the morning of your dental appointment? Can't be done.
Agreed.
It's a classic. No question about that. Facebook question time of the day. This one is impossible. Which one? Indians, Browns, or Cavaliers? Who'll be the next to win the championship? Come on, you got a coin to flip?
Well, I mean, it's not going to be the Cavs out of those three. So it's Browns or Indians. I would say the Indians are better equipped because they are capable of winning the division and getting through, whereas the Browns are going to be, it looks like they might be stuck behind the Steelers and certainly the Ravens for a while.
You say a while. That could be a long while. Although I don't know, without Roethlisberger, if he decides to hang him up, that's your opening there.
The Steelers, it's a precarious situation for them because it really does hinge on Roethlisberger's health. But the Ravens, it appears to me, are set up to win for a while because their main pieces are young and they do what great organizations do. I hate to admit that the Ravens are a great organization, but they are. They reload, they don't rebuild. So I think the Ravens are going to be a handful for years to come.
Kevin Quimby responds with the answer, with the tribe crying broke, it won't be them. That's an interesting point about the Pittsburgh Steelers and how they just seem to, I guess Roethlisberger is the glue on that thing, but it just seems they add guys at the right time. They're not lucky when there is a purpose to their madness when they take certain guys, and they scout Ohio State very well, which is good for them. But they don't impress you as a flashy, great team, but all they do is win and put themselves in position.
Right. And, they make key deals when they feel it's necessary. You think of Minka Fitzpatrick and the Dolphins, when they got him over and he's been good for them. And even Joe Hayden, our guy Joe Hayden has played reasonably well for the Steelers for, his time there. But they are another plug and play organization in the NFL because they have their systems, they have the Steeler way, and they
have Mike Tomlin.
Well, yeah, the Tomlin way, the Steelers way, and when you come to the Steelers, there's an expectation level of how you're going to play, what you're going to play. Certainly on the defensive side, the expectation is you're going to rush the passer no matter who you are, and it's a frenetic, amoeba-like defense, one that I think a guy would love to play for. And invariably with the Steelers, they wind up getting a guy in the late first or second or third round who plays above his skis, and all of a sudden he looks all world in a Steelers uniform.
Absolutely right.
That's what great organizations do.
Yeah. All right, we'll get a final comment from D-Man, and if anybody has a quickie for me, I'm all set for it. We'll take a break. Voicemail of Truth and Reason promo. It tells you that if you can't get us during the show and you want to leave a comment, special number for that, 216-200-6650. 216-200-6650. Back in a moment. More Sports and Less Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Andy Baskin from 92.3 The Fan with Baskin and Phelps. He joins us. That'll be tomorrow from 10 and he's on from 10 until 2. We'll be here from 6 a.m. or 6. No, we won't. We'll be here from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on wherever you find us. Normally, of course, cleveland.com. All right, D-Man, I'm going to get to you in one moment. Mr. Gullible has submitted two quickies, so let's give it a go. How come when my boss gave me a pamphlet on anger management, I admit it, I lost it? Good? Yeah, nice work.
Gullible. That was good.
Yeah, nice work. He sends one more in. How come when I tried to learn about clouds, but the subject was over my head? Not as good. The first one was better.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to leave a little bit early. You got a final comment, D-Man, before you head over to WTAM 1100?
Congratulations again to Shane Bieber, Indians right-hander. I mean, you think about he was once a college walk-on, and now he's an American League Cy Young Award winner. And remember the AL All-Star Game MVP from last year.
You can never take that away from him. It's permanently etched in his record.
And that's the thing, Les. I know it was a shortened season, obviously, but he will always be a Cy Young Award winner. It's not going to matter what the size of the season was. It was, ask the Dodgers. It's an official season. They won the World Series. Bieber won the Cy, so he deserves the utmost
How about
credit.
that? I don't know if we can get that back up, but the walks ratio to strikeouts, there you go. 122 strikeouts and 21 walks, and opponents hit 167 against them. I don't care who you're playing against, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Biebs, as competitive as he is, I mean, he's probably still stinging from that Yankees start in the wild card series. But honestly, I mean, the Yankees ambushed him. They did a hell of a job like they're capable of. That doesn't excuse it. I know Bieber wouldn't make excuses. He got beat. The bad time to get beat, but it doesn't. It should never take away.
Hold on. Big news, breaking news. National League Cy Young Award winner?
Oh.
Trevor Bauer. Wow.
Hey,
that resume, Chris Antonetti's resume just went up.
Listen, I've never been a huge fan of Bauer, but I've always respected his talent. Yeah. I think there's some other things about Bauer that make me scratch my head, but good for him. And this might be the swan song with the Reds.
He did it with a 5-4. Did it with a 5-4 record.
I mean, he was really obscene. I mean, look at that 159 opponent average. Yeah. He deserves it. His price just went up even more.
But it'll only take 1 year.
And the rarest of rare feats, by the way, Les, for the two teams in the same state to have the Cy Young.
Oh yeah. All right, that'll do it for us. D-Man can be heard on 1100 WTAM following this show. And I'll see you tomorrow night with Andy Baskin. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.